episode 61. Time to have some fun. You're watching Evening Hour Live. Grab a drink. Here we go. Let's do it. Come on in. Come on in, people. Happy Friday. All right. We got a good group already. Come on in. With my notes. Good one tonight. Wait. And there we go. My Baroque. If it's not Baroque, you don't have to fix it. What's up? I'm Cardone. Let's have a fun time tonight. We got a good group in here already. Entrez-vous. Here we go. Wow, I got a great show. I have lots of little things to go through. Thank you, Corey. I am a major Blackula fan. I've liked this movie ever since I was a kid. Hey, Ruth. Cheers. Happy Friday. So, first and foremost, new people, hit subscribe, hit like, hit notify. Also, for the new people in here, yes, we have in-chat gaming. You're going to see a lot of people in here doing lots of weird things. And you will also see Zalthon the Tyrant, my moderator. He is my Streamlabs moderator. Yes, he can be a tyrant. And he will tell you what's going on. So basically, if you read the description, you will see how you find out if you have points. And you'll find out how to gamble those points to make more points. And if you get a bunch of points, you can win a package. Ashworth, Amanda, both of your packages did not go out today because I'm still putting stuff in them. I had a few things that I wanted to put in that I didn't get to. Well, I'll tell you right now, you're each going to get a seashell from Rockaway Beach. I'll probably go get that later tonight. I wanted to give you a little piece of the beach here. I like getting that kind of stuff myself, so that's what I'm sending. I'm sending things I like to get in the mail. Also, tonight, we are going to have a giveaway. And the giveaway is going to be this. An amazing Dungeon Degenerates postcard, frameable. An amazing Dungeon Degenerates badge, compliments of Goblinko. And Sean Auberg, one of my favorite artists. And right here, Lankmar. This is a module for Lankmar. For DCC, I'm sorry. What am I calling it Lankmar? It takes place in Lankmar, but this is a module for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It is amazing. Brand new. I had 2 of these, but the pin is amazing. So, if you stick around, I'll give you the secret number to put in the chat. Amanda, what's up? I was just saying to Ashworth, too, who's in here. Your packages didn't go out yet. I'm still putting stuff in them. Yeah, you guys got the mystery box. Well, get ready. You're going to get a bunch of weird things in a box. I can't wait. What else was I going to say? Should I do that now or should I do it later? I think I'm going to do it in a couple minutes. At 10 after. I have an announcement to make or something I want to say online that I've never talked about. And I'm going to do it tonight. And I'm a little excited to do this. And I don't want to do it just yet. But tonight's episode, before we get to it, and I really want everybody to participate tonight. Tonight is called You No Good Dirty Lizard Brain. I really do like coming up with these titles. We're going to talk in detail about the basal ganglia, the area of the brain that houses all of the functions in the core, also known as the lizard brain. And I had a realization about something. So we're going to go into that. Somebody in here was complimenting me on the opening song. Thank you. That's a song I wrote and I play bass on. It was for an unreleased album that maybe one day will get released. I would actually like to redo the vocals. I'd like to redo it a bit. But the track is solid. And it's also, my opening song is the same stuff. It's unreleased. It's unreleased. So the song that you hear that starts off with a, it's the second song I always play. That song's called Hero. And it's one of my favorite songs I wrote. It's a really simple, heavy tune. And what the heck, I might as well use it on my show. So thanks for the compliment. I love writing tunes. I'm in the process of buying a guitar. I don't know yet when, but I'm starting to peruse. I own an acoustic. I actually own 2 acoustics. One I play. One of them I never play. I own only 1 bass guitar. I used to have like 4. I have my main axe. And I've never owned my own electric guitar. Now, I don't consider myself an electric guitar player, but I've always wanted to own one just for songwriting purposes and recording purposes. I've only played guitar once in a band live, and it was for a one-off, and I was just doing rhythm tracks. So, is it one more minute, and then I'm going to go into the story I wanted to tell. What the heck? I'm just going to start now. So, my whole life, ever since I was little, I'm a target for getting picked on for certain things. Some of it has to do with my lifestyle of how I just kind of do my own thing and don't really care what other people think. Sometimes it has to do with I'm involved. I like things that are occult in nature, and it does rub some people the wrong way. And so my whole life I've been kind of a target for that kind of stuff. And recently, I have been getting harassed online a lot. And it started maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. It started, and now it's getting really nutso. Like, I'm getting messages posted on other people's pages. The person posts on my page tagging other people. And I'm being called a racist, a bigot, a homophobe. All the trappings of what people like to witch hunt with these days. It's a very thing to witch hunt with. Like, you're a racist! And then you're like, oh, how do I escape? So, I got one to just literally minutes before broadcast in an email form, and I'm going to read it. And I decided just to make it open at this point because part of me's flattered that somebody hates me this much that they're really willing to go out of their way. And those of you that know me on a very close personal level will know. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, William, you know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know what this is, what kind of stuff this is. We recently had a close friend of ours whose house was burned down, and we don't even know who that is. So I'm going to read the email now. The person's claiming to multiple people that I abuse women, which is pretty funny. Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to read it. It's a fake. It says Jason Rogers 23, but it looks, the email is protonmail.com. Anybody know what that is? protonmail.com. It sounds like an address that you would use if you're trying to hide. It says, Mr. Adam Cardone. I'm going to read this out loud. Oh, the header is booking for a party. So, of course, I get emails for party bookings all the time for, magic shows. Oh, yes, Dan. It's crazy. That's why I'm being open about it. I have nothing to hide. It says, Mr. Adam Cardone, my family and I were hoping to hire you for a great rate plus tip. That's interesting. What do you mean a great rate? You don't even know what my rate is. Whoever wrote this probably can't afford me, which is pretty funny. I can't afford myself. Plus tip. They're mentioning the tip in there, which is weird. which lets me know that this is below. I can read right through this. So whoever wrote this, if you're watching, which you probably are, this is pretty silly. We were going to hire you for a great rate plus tip until we heard rumors about you among some parents who've hosted events / parties. I have to say, man to man, which is, who talks like this? I am disgusted by what I have heard and will never let my children, especially my elder daughters, near you. We will surely let all the parents know to avoid you. When 4 different people come to us full of disturbing complaints and screenshots about you, that's when I draw the line. I mean, this is... Apparently, you've got quite a reputation. As the father of 2 daughters, we will be sure to make sure every parent avoids you. If you think it's acceptable to date, abuse, and then hurt women, especially those that are young like garbage, which is bad grammar. I don't even know what they're trying to say there. They have sent us screenshots of your texts, behavior, and a voice recording, and us parents are beyond repulsed. Is it all from one? Well, this one's from one email, yes. Yeah, I'm sure they're watching this right now. That's why I'm reading it. It's ridiculous. I mean, just the word. I mean, I study human behavior. I literally, for a living, I'm able to read this kind of stuff and go right to the source. Let me see here. Don't worry. You can bet that your business will go downhill. Well, if this is all true, why wouldn't I be arrested, right? I mean, it sounds like they're leaning that I'm like a serious abuser. This is crazy. It is disgusting as a parent, a father, to see how you treat women when your own kids are not too far apart in age. Okay. All right. I love how they... And this is not... So, let me pause. This person has sent messages to friends and other things, and they always pose as a different person. Sometimes they pretend to be a woman. This is a person pretending to be a man, and he literally says man to man in it to let me know it's a man. Oh, Ruth, I think Zalthon got you. Sorry, Ruth. Zalthon's a tyrant. He deleted your message. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. The community will be sure to inform everyone in Rockaway and in New York City that a man of 2 children in their teens also likes to treat and abuse young women only a couple of years apart from his own kids. Okay. Your name has been mentioned in 4 different groups by several was in all caps, people, ! Many. We are beyond repulsed and will, ! All caps, will... I'm sorry, I need my glasses. I'm like trying to read this without my glasses. You're right, Dallas. People throw those words around. They're literally watering down the real bad guys. It's not good. All right, anyway. Oh, yeah. We are beyond repulsed and will report you. Disgusting how you present yourself on social platforms. It contradicts what the screenshots and recordings show us. So that's a group of them. The last thing a parent needs is to let you near their teenagers. You'll be hearing from our attorneys upon further interaction, especially with anyone underage. Attorneys? What? Wait, what? They're suing me? For what? I mean, this is... Anywho, if you're watching, good luck with this all. Being straight up. Good luck. Those who know me know who I am and how I conduct business. And, yeah. If you're going out of your way to harass me, you've got lots of bad luck ahead, my friends. Is it a third world... meaning like, third world person meaning like somebody just trying to like extort me, like from, you know, Nigeria or Bombay where they have all the... Yeah, I don't know. I have some ideas of who it is, and it's pretty amusing, but yeah, I mean, when you live your life according to your own nature, how you want, and you don't give a shit what other people think, this is the kind of thing that happens. I can only imagine what celebrities go through. It's got to be pretty bad. Talon, you just got nailed by Zalfon, and you just put emojis in there, right? I don't know why it's set to get rid of emojis. Sorry. Yeah, see? Zalfon's a tyrant tonight. Thank you, Daryl. I mean, I go out of my way to do the right thing and to and to keep straight and narrow in my own business of, you know, being a decent person. And no matter what, there's always going to be a hater. And yeah, tonight everybody's triggering Zalfon. So yeah, I just wanted to read that. I think I'm just gonna start reading these messages now as they come in publicly because it's kind of funny. I really can't believe somebody has that much time to sit down and write that much stuff. Eventually, this person will trip and fall, and we'll know who it is. Yeah. So, on that note, I mean, what else? Honestly, what should I do? You can't trace these things, as far as I know, unless you're actually the FBI. People can always make a new message and just keep harassing. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is just be open about it and not hide what it is. I have nothing to hide, so there it is. I will continue to keep you posted. Maybe it'll be a segment on my show of my haters and harassers. I'm gonna be honest, it's a little flattering. So they've also called me a narcissist in many and other things. Like, I'm a true narcissist. So if I'm a true narcissist, this is flattering. So yeah, I am a little bit of a narcissist. Thank you for flattering me with your hate. I forget who said it, but there's a few good hater quotes. And that is, well, one of them's, your enemy shall make you a hero. So, cheers. All right. Let's get into the episode. Now, before we do that, if you want to enter the contest and win the badge, and win the postcard, and the module, and even if you don't play RPGs, this is really neat. Especially if you're a fantasy reader. Oh, they mentioned my children, Daryl, in almost every harassment. And they've messaged other people trying to stir the pot, not to make them, not to target them, but to get at me, to stir the pot at me. So, yeah, this is how it goes. Yeah, this is why I was like, I'm just going to be open about it. So if you want to win the badge, the postcard, and the module, right now, in the chat, write 666. You put 6... Mama's in the house. Hi, Mama. Write 666 in the chat, and you will be in the running for... the prize, but you got to stick around to the end because I'm going to roll a dice. Hold on a second here. Before I do anything, I have... Okay. So tonight's episode, hold on, I want to, let me turn this down. Oh, here, we got people coming in here. Here we go. Daryl, Corey. Okay. Corey. Talon. Ashworth. Okay. Tonight's episode is 61. If you're new, hit that like and subscribe. And, I love coming up with these silly titles, but there you go. You know good, dirty lizard brain. Now, the reason why I decided to do the show tonight on the lizard brain thing is because I had an idea yesterday about something. I'm constantly trying to analyze myself, and, oh, here, let me show this one more time. Write 666 in the chat. Hold on here. and you will win these things. All right, here we go. So I had an idea because of something somebody said to me about how I'm able to explain things in a manner that's easy to understand. And I thought, well, I had to get good at that because I'm doing magic shows for a living. And if you do a magic show or even just one magic trick, magic tricks have a plot. They kind of go from step A to B to C, and then the grand finale is D. And if you don't shape how they're getting to each part, the D is not going to have the moment of, oh. So I figured out how to explain things in very, in a manner that not only is understandable, but captures their imagination. And so somebody complimented me on that. They were like, hey, you're really good at storytelling. And it made me think of why. Why? What? When I was a little kid, I was good at it too. I didn't hone the skill then, but I just naturally was good at it. Why? And that led to all sorts of stuff. And it happened only a few days ago, and I was like, I'm going to do an episode on this. So, thank you, Ashworth. Yeah, thank you. 61 ain't no joke. I can't believe I've done that many. So I wanted to break this down. we're going to talk about our brains. And more importantly, we're going to talk about a specific part of the brain, known as the lizard brain, or the lizard part of the brain. We can call it the basal ganglia, which is the science word for that area. And I just wanted to explain a little bit quickly of the three main parts of the brain and how they evolved and function before we get to the lizard. Because I want to talk about the lizard, because the more I read about it, it's kind of shocking. And it explains so much about what's going on in the world, human nature, and the problems that are always going to happen that we actually pretty much can't do anything about. And I want to talk about it because I think we need to. So, the brain. So we have the lizard part. Why is it called the lizard part of the brain? Because it is the earliest form of what this thing is. In our earliest evolutionary state, we had a very simple part of the brain. It's just this little, and it's the same thing lizards have. It's the F's fight, the F word, flee. It's a easy way to understand what it does. It's the most basic survival tools we have. The next part of the brain, the more evolved, is the limbic cortex, which is the mammal part. It's not the human part, it's just the mammal part. And that's the part that has compassion for a young one. It also has the tribal part. Stick together in the group and we're better. The family part, right? Animals have this too. Right? Mammals do. And then we have the neo part. The neo part of the brain is what makes us be able to build skyscrapers and rocket ships. And it's also the book, it's where all these crazy philosophy books lie. It's all in the neo part. And we're going to focus on the lizard part. And its functions and its problems. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on how to game it as best we can and how you're being gamed by outside influence, and it's doing this to your lizard brain. I want to talk about that. Because once I tell you this stuff, you're never going to be able to forget it because you're going to see it everywhere. Come on in, people. If you're new, hit this subscribe button. Okay, we're almost at 800, I think. It's good. So, yeah, the basal ganglia is the survive, the emotions, the react, and it's fast. It happens like that. The limbic is the nurture, the tribe. The neo is the think, the plan, the respond, and it's slow. So now let's go back to the basal ganglia, the lizard part. Well, one of the things that area of the brain, and it literally is, if you follow your spine up, it's the boop right above it. It's right there. It literally is like a little walnut-sized thing, like a lizard. It's one of the things that controls our movement. It's the thing that makes our arms run immediately. It makes your legs go. It's leading to positive, meaning escaping from a bad thing or running to something good. Or it also inhibits movement for safety reasons. You know, you're walking and there's a cliff. Your lizard brain kicks on. Lizards do this too, right? They do the same thing. So it does movement. It also is considered to be one of the main parts that moves the eyes. Okay? After I read all the things that it does, wait till you hear what the bad parts are. Wonder what the next brain of our evolution. Well, I'm curious too, but after doing my research, we'll never know because it's going to take about 1 million more years. It's really slow paced, the evolution of it all. It also is where our emotions are. The crying, the fear, habitual learning, the Pavlov dog thing, you know, on repeat, you know when the food's going to be there. And it has the dopamine neurotransmitters. Whoa! Dopamine. Dopamine is the modern version of crack cocaine, folks. I said to somebody the other day, a couple months ago, I was like, man, imagine in the future where drug dealers won't even have to sell you a drug. They'll be able to sell you and get you addicted to a drug that you already produce, and no one will be able to see it. And my friend was like, whoa, that would suck. And I was like, you already have it. It's your iPhone. That's it. Crack cocaine. Dopamine blasts all day. Dopamine addiction, serious. So, the dinner bell. Yes, Amanda, exactly. Basal Ganglia sounds like a cool punk rock band. Actually, that is. A cool name would be Basil Gang. Just that. Basil Gang. Yeah, that's good. So, if you think about a lizard and how they behave, you know, a little lizard in the desert, you know, he's out there and he finds some food. What is he doing? He's like this. Right? He's like looking around. Why? There's eagle trying to get him, an owl's trying to eat him. A bobcat's going to jump out and bounce on him. And that little lizard, even though his brain is the size of a pea, he's able to survive. He's able to react quick. He's constantly in fear. And he's constantly on the move. Sound familiar? Know anybody that acts like that? Know anybody that's constantly thinks everybody's out to get them? Okay. Think about a lizard and how it survives. It's programmed to run away and do that thing, right? So let's talk about some of the disorders associated with this part of the brain. One of them, this is the crazy one, Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome, for most, hold on, let me have a sip of this. I'm going to yawn. Hold on. If I'm going to yawn, I'm going to put Zalthon on. Here we go. Oh my God. Whew. Zalthon's going to kick my butt. All right. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Tourette syndrome. Most people think Tourette syndrome's like people that say bad words when they're not supposed to. And it can be that. But it also can be a body movement, a nervous tic that you can't stop. That can also be a form of Tourette's. I met somebody who had a really good friend that whenever they thought somebody was lying, they made a noise. So throughout the day, they would make these weird noises, and it had to do with them thinking somebody was lying, and they just reacted. That's Tourette syndrome. The other one is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I probably have a little bit of OCD. I think a lot of people that are artists have to have a little bit, especially a skill artist, when you're learning a sleight of hand. If you don't obsessively compulsively practice it, you might not be as good as the guy that is. Ruth, you're learning sleight of hand. You have to kind of just obsess over it and you get good at it. Too much surfing. Never enough surfing. Drug addiction is another part of the lizard brain. They think that's one of the sources in there. Dopamine addiction. Opioids increase the dopamine signal. So if you're addicted to opioids, it's doing something in that basal ganglia to make you more hooked. Now, here's the crazy part. I mean, there's literally a list a mile long of what happens when the lizard part of your brain is damaged. Parkinson's disease, that's part of it. Neurological disorders that make the body move in haphazard manners, it's in that area. Now, here's the crazy part. This is where it starts to get nutso. When you fire your basal ganglia, your neo part turns off. It's gone. Done. The thing happens. Let's say somebody says something to irritate the person. It goes in. Or, for instance, when I was reading the email today, when I first got the email from my fan, I'm going to call them a fan, not a hater. They're a fan. The first thing I felt was a little bit of an adrenaline blast. That's the basal ganglia. That's the flee fight mode. It's adrenaline. It also does the dopamine blast when something great's going on. So my neo brain, it turns off. For that to function, it goes off. Now, the other day, I was doing research in what happens when you're in a group. When you're in a group of people, your neo also turns off. And your limbic and your lizard start to take charge. A lot of limbic, early mammal. That's the gang mentality. That's the tribe mentality. It's where, well, we'll get into that in a second. So this brain part of for it to function, it's just to survive. That's it. Stay alive. I always say we evolved not to thrive, but to survive. We literally evolved to do that. You have to survive first. If you survive, maybe you're lucky you can thrive. But survival comes first. And that lizard part of our brain took 1 million years to get there. Think about that for a second. It didn't take a week. It didn't take 10,000 years. It didn't take 100,000 years. It took 1 million years. That's a long time for that little walnut to slowly start to learn how to live better. Not better, survive. According to Nietzsche, it would be not to survive, but the will to... I wonder what Nietzsche thinks about animals. Because recently I started getting into the Friedrich Nietzsche stuff, and Nietzsche, his claim is the will to power trumps the will to survive. For him, the will to power is here, and the survive is under it. I haven't processed that yet. Oh, wow, William, I'm going to read this quote. Very good quote. Very good thing to say. I'm going to get into that. So I haven't chewed on that thought yet. So I don't have an opinion. I will eventually, after much reading and study. But yeah, Nietzsche's main... If I had to pick what I think his main point is, and that is the will to power trumps the survival. It's the top. I don't know. William says, when you make your eyes move up or far to the sides, one of these bits, it sends signals to disengage your lizard brain. Ah, wow. That is why a lot of people look up trying to think or calm down. So by faking it, it might help. Good point. Well, we're going to get to the how to game your lizard brain, because from what I'm reading, it's almost impossible to game it. Really, it runs the show. I personally think 80% of the populace runs their stuff off of that and doesn't really ever go to the neo. Wow, that's a really great point. Looking up and doing that. Well, one of the things I realized through research is give it a good minute. So if something happens that makes you upset, let's say like today, where's my phone? I'm reading this message like some hater, I'm going to call them a fan, my number one fan sent me, who's jealous. I was like, immediately you want to start messaging back, like, how dare you insult me? But so from what I've read, give it a good full minute. Why? Because eventually the lizard part will stop, the chemicals will stop, and you can now go to your Neo and make a plan. I'm constantly saying stuff like that. Like, you have to respond, not react. We evolved to react. So it's kind of hard to do. If we evolve to react and somebody doesn't have the facility to go past, what do you expect? It doesn't make me forgive people, but it makes me less annoyed after seeing it. Because once I realize what's going on, I see it everywhere. Everywhere I look, I see people using their lizard brain as a reaction. I see people's posts. I see their memes they make. I literally see people post memes relishing and glorifying how cool it is that they live off their lizard brain. They'll make a post like, I'm in a bad mood, but they're almost making light of it, when in reality, it's their demise. It's not healthy. So I'm basically saying our natural state of that running our show doesn't work in modern society. We have this new thing where we live in cities and we have a set of rules, and that just doesn't fly anymore. So the people that lean to that, it's a little weird. It seems like I wrote down no escape. So what does this all mean for you and me? And, how do we use this to our advantage or disadvantage? That's what we're going to talk about for the rest of the show. And I'm curious of your thoughts on this. If you're watching this show right now, I like doing this show because we got a chat of smart people in here. So say it. If you have something to say, put it in the chat. We're going to talk. Ruth says, I don't think OCD is bad unless you're licking light switches. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is... It's like, before I got to leave the house, I got to give it 2 licks. I got to click my heels, squeeze my ear, and then I can go out the door. Supposedly, Joey Ramone had a condition that was that bad. Before he left his apartment, he had to do a whole series of things before he left. So, yeah, that would suck. The NPC meme is nothing but a mix of lizard limbic brain run amok. I mean, to me, that's what the internet is at this point. It's lizard limbic run amok. True. That's a great way to do it. Or write it. Somebody wrote, I wish my wife was watching. Well, she can watch the rerun. So how do we game this? So, okay, let's go back to the beginning of the show now, where I was talking about communicating and how I communicate. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit, many years of my life, didn't realize what this lizard brain thing was. And I will admit, maybe I even glorified living out of that area. I eventually, my neocortex realized that it caused problems, and I actively started working on it. And the first thing to do when it happens is to acknowledge it. And that's with anything. That's with anxiety. If anybody out there's watching that has anxiety, millions of people have anxiety issues. And I never had anxiety my whole life until the last maybe year or so. Noticeable anxiety, where I'm like, this is an anxiety attack, right? Never had it. I had one on an airplane about a year ago, and man alive, I hated it. I just got like a panic attack, like, and I never had that before. So what in my research, the first thing you do is admit you're having an anxiety attack and notice the function. Feel where it lies. Some people it's in their chest, some people it's in their belly, some people it's in their fingertips. And feel it and go, wow, I feel it. I feel it's this weird, this adrenaline. What is that? And Sam Harris is always saying, when you feel that, remember, sometimes that feeling is pleasurable. Roller coaster, horror film, something exciting, a big rock show. Oh, yeah. So, Ruth, you know what I'm talking about. I'm curious, Ruth, of what you do to. Now, some people take medicine, some people don't, but I don't know if you have any tricks to deal with it. My trick that I think about is acknowledge it and think about what you're feeling immediately. As soon as you acknowledge, I'm having a panic attack, I feel the adrenaline, I feel it in my, I usually get it like, I can feel it in my arms and legs. It literally feels like a, I can feel it moving through my body. We've all had that feeling where, well, not all of us, but like right before a fist fight. I remember in like middle school, like that like feeling of someone's getting ready to attack you. That's the adrenaline blast. So what do? You just say, I feel it. I had somebody try to jump me out here. Another hater. Literally another hater like this. This idiot here. It's a very similar situation. Oh, you do have tricks. I want to hear. I'm curious. So this person who tried to jump me saw me on the street, got out of the car, threatened to hit me, threatened to hit the girl I was hanging out with, which was insane. And I remember, you get that anxiety. I was like, you get the adrenaline and it's the lizard brain kicking in. And I remember at that moment, I'm too old to get into silly brawls over surf territory. Stupid. Yes, that stuff exists, just like in the movies. That's real. I just was like, you want to attack me? There it is. Hit me. You're going to jail today. And it just made the person like, that was my response. Like, if you're going to attack me, go ahead. There's cameras everywhere. There's witnesses here. Go ahead. You're the one that's going to go to jail. I'm too old and tired, and I have work. I'm too busy. And that was me shutting off my lizard, going to the Neo, and making a quick plan of how to handle this guy, because he was like fuming, and I was like, wow, this is hilarious. Oh, here, Ruth, I'm gonna jump to your quote, your things here. Anxiety is your brain showing you movies to make you feel bad. Ooh, okay, interesting. You acknowledge it, and if you can, say thank you, brain, for trying to take care of me. Yay, love this. But right now, I'm okay. Okay. Yeah, Amanda, I get avoidance, but it's due to trauma. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, trauma, so if you have a traumatic experience, no matter what it is, your brain learns what that was, and any sign of it, even if it's not the actual trauma, triggers those responses. Yeah, I can imagine. It's terrible. Okay. I will say it out loud. Say thanks, but that's not helpful. Yeah, I think saying it out loud is important. I love this show. This is what I like about this show. People are very open. I'm being open too. So what does this mean about me and my work and my magic? Because my life's work is doing magic shows. That's what I do. That's how I pay my bills. It's my passion, meaning I really like learning about it and studying it. And I'm not a magician that likes to keep learning new magic tricks. I mean, I do, but that's not my hobby. I'm not like a trick junkie. Like, I like studying how it works so I can make mine better. And I realized as an actor performer, one of the things I learned in college and the thing they would teach is how to use your facility. And your facility as an actor is your emotions, which is your lizard brain, your freak outs and your cries and your lust and your desires. how does an actor use this? Um, get out of my wave, dude. Yes. Oh my God, I've seen fist fights on the beach. I've seen it in the water. I've seen crazy stuff. One day we're going to do another show with my surfer guy who lives above me on that kind of stuff. Rick Sherman. Hey, what's up, buddy? Cheers. Happy Friday. Rick Sherman says, I try to determine what came first, the thought or the physical sensations. Well, wouldn't the thought come first? Well, first there's the outside influence that triggers it. Or it could just be well, I'm a determinist. I think everything comes from something. So, as an actor, I learned in college a system, a technique of acting based in how we really are. And that is every word you say in a play has an action. And it starts with the word to. And I literally mean this. To. T-O. Okay? To love. To hate. To annoy. To taunt. Whatever it is, you have an action. To blah, 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 blah. So when you say your line, that action, that thing you're trying to do, is inside of it. So the person says the line. Let's say they're that person. They say the line. I always use the word I love you as the line with the action of to annoy. Be like, I love you. Right? That would be saying I love you, but you're trying to annoy the person. So, they say that line. As an actor, I have to open up my facility and let that trigger me to respond to that thing. So we literally learn how to use that thing that we evolved to do to tell a story to the audience. And I really do believe this is the best way for an actor to go about it. Why? Because it's the real thing. This is how we actually are. It's what, like, for instance, if you're watching a couple people argue in a restaurant, why does everybody stop and watch? Well, because it's real. And you're literally watching two human beings play ping pong. He's throwing the ball to this person. They're throwing the ball to this person. Beep, beep, beep. And you're watching it. This is why bad acting you don't like. We don't watch. We don't care. Because it's not two people playing ping pong. This is why I don't like Tarantino movies. He does not direct that way. It's wooden actors saying lines with no action, and that line isn't affecting the other person. It's why filmmaking is not like theater. Because filmmaking, it's edited. It's all edited and cut together. As a performer, when I see film, it's a little hard to watch because you're not actually getting the true art form, which is watching two people affect each other. Once I learned this and started seeing it, I stopped liking a lot of movies. So as a performer, I learned this. And I think I'm naturally good at, when I'm talking and explaining something, I get emotional and excited. And I also use my hands. This is all limbic stuff. Or this is all lizard brain stuff. My body functions and my arms are flailing. I talk with my hands. Yes, I'm an Italian-American guy. Which is, we're famous for talking with our hands. And I read a really good article about people who talk with their hands. And it's not talking with your hands, I thought, was me and my burning desire to communicate and push forth the idea to the person. And in reality, the neuroscience guys are saying, no, it's for me. I talk with my hands for me. It helps me organize my thoughts. I don't know if I buy that or not, but that's what I read. Oh yeah, you're going to hear surfing stories, Dan. I'm going to compile some. So, what does this all mean? It means I'm using my neocortex. Oh, one important point. We don't really have three different brains in our head. We have one brain with different parts and they all kind of interact. That's the fact. But I'm using the neo part, the higher part, the planning part, when I'm explaining a magic trick or performing. But I'm also using my lizard part as a communication tool. And not only that, I'm catering to the other person's lizard part. Through trial and error, my way of talking does that. That's what performing is. That's what movies do. That's what politicians do. That's what advertising does. It's using a higher thought to go below the radar and hit you right in that lizard brain and get you to emotionally react. Look at last year's election. Look at the news. Look at the candidates. Whether you're on the good guy team, the bad guy team, the left team, the right team, both teams are playing to your emotions. Whether it be anger, hatred, compassion, love, right? That's what they're playing to. When in reality, most of it doesn't really mean anything because they can placate to these little responses. Meanwhile, there's a whole nother thing going on over here. You missed half the show, Peter. Well, jump back in. Watch the repeat because this is one of my favorite kind of shows. Oh my God, we're almost done again. These shows go by too damn quick. So I basically have been using my higher learning brain to kind of use my lizard part as a tool, a communication tool, which is kind of fascinating. I thought about this the other day. I was like, wow, that's a really interesting notion of how I conduct business. And how can I make that better? How can I streamline that now? That's why I do this. I go, how am I doing it? And how can I make it better? This is what I do with magic tricks. I have a magic trick I love. I know it works. How do I make it better? How do I streamline it? Mind control, yes. Well, mind control meaning advertising plays to your emotion. It gets you to react, not respond, react. It makes you go, oh, I want to order that. I always thought car commercials were interesting because nobody goes, I'm going to go buy a car today. They go into a subconscious drive, car commercials. They want it to be a vibe that goes in your brain and festers a bit. So that when it's time to buy a car, there's a certain lifestyle behind it. Another thing I recently started studying is how political parties come from personality types, not values. I'm going to do a show on that. It's really interesting because you'll see people with similar values on the ends of the spectrum of politics. And I've always been fascinated by that. And I'm going to do a show on that. But I really, really, really think that this lizard brain thing explains why there's all these problems. It also, to me, explains a lot about racist tendencies, sexist tendencies. Look at, like, the concept of the lizard brain reacting, fight, flee, mate, right? And then right beside it, put the tribal part. Now, I don't like, for me, racism is a subcategory of tribal. It's not the top, it's underneath. It's not the main thing. It's a tribal thing. And in, early man, if somebody looked like you, literally looked like you, it was a good thing. It was like, all right, we look the same. We're from the same team. It's very clear of who I'm friends with, and it's better for survival. If somebody shows up and looks different, what's the lizard brain do? Who are you? What are you doing? I don't know you. It's probably better to fight that person or to flee, right? It doesn't necessarily have to do with skin color. It could be the length of your hair. Maybe that group doesn't cut their hair and this group does. Who knows? But difference is bad, right? If we evolved, our brains are hardwired to go, difference bad. That's a big problem. That's crazy. Different is bad. Dude, when I was little, I was told if you're different, you're bad. Not by my parents, but by school and in the media. My parents knew I was a weirdo from the beginning, and they accepted me. Thanks, Mom. So, but seriously, like, difference bad. And you could put racism in there, politics, religion, gender, whatever. It's really kind of interesting to look at it that way and go, wow, if there's a million years of this tribal stuff and this lizard brain working together, it's not that easy of a fix. Parades and riots aren't going to change it. No way. It takes a lot more. And I do think the first part of this is talking about it and understanding what it is and educating children on what this is. They don't teach this in school. Imagine if kindergarten, they're like, all right, we're going to do some scenario play acting where there's a conflict. Maybe it's a racial thing. Maybe it's something that we're going to play act it. And we're going to talk about what you feel and how to deal with those emotions and how to not react, but to respond. To me, that's one of the problems with the police. I honestly, my personal opinion, and I don't really talk politics, but I don't think it's a racial problem in the police. I think it's two things. I think police attract a certain type. I think they attract bullies and the people that were bullied. I also think it attracts a racist type, a tribal type. Now, if you get a bunch of people that are that type in a group, give them weapons, and then they are the type that run not on neocortex, but the lizard part, you're going to have a problem. Because they're going to be emotionally reacting to all things. You put them in a hairy situation where there's guns and crime involved, they're not responding. They're reacting with emotions. Watch all these videos of policemen arresting people and watch how the cops get... I had somebody pull me over 2-3 years ago out here. 4 cops got out. Oh no, this one here is 1 cop. 1 was in the car, 1 got out. And when he came up to my window, he looked jacked. Like, he looked mad. I was like, okay, what's going on here? I know for a fact, when you get picked to be in the FBI or to be the CIA, they really check this stuff out. They sit you down and they name call you and see how you react. They do stuff like that because they don't want people who react. They want people that if you call them racial slurs, they're just like, keep coming. Doesn't upset me. If you take a regular New York City cop, let's say an African-American cop, and you start calling him racial slurs, I can guarantee you he's going to emotionally react. I mean, it's just the way it is. So I think a lot of this stuff is a hardwired that we are just now starting to understand, and it is beyond our wildest imaginations of how hardwired it is and not easy to deal with. We've now created man-made values, a law system, rights, that are man-made. You know, all of our God-given rights aren't God-given. We made them up. And if we follow them, most of them make life easier. Some of them contradict, though, how this crazy part of our lizard brain reacts. And maybe through evolution and, I don't know, like survival, the people that are able to not react are the ones that are going to live, have children, and teach their children this new way of not using this lizard brain so much. And maybe we'll be able to turn it off and on when we want a lot better. Maybe that's the evolved brain. A better switch. So it's like, I don't need to use my emotions here at all. I don't have to. I can respond. And to me, this is where we start. Like, if you're debating somebody, like, you know, I have lots of friendly debates. Lots. People that go, you like to debate. It's like, I kind of do, because it makes me understand them and me better. It also makes me piece together my views in a very positive way. I'm able to unpack them. And sometimes when I'm debating people, I see them start to, right? Or they won't let me talk. And it's you can clearly see It's that. It's the chemicals flooded their brain with adrenaline because they heard something they didn't like or it offended their value. Usually that's what it is. It's a value offense. So I offended their value, so they react. If they could turn that off and explain why their value was offended, maybe then I'll be able to understand it better. And then I can respond to that. And we can go back and forth responding to each other's feelings and thoughts. And to me, that's where it is. If we can't talk about this stuff, what can we do? Outrage is not good. This kind of outrage in a public format, in even the protests, cause many problems. And some of the protests, I agree with what they're protesting. I'm like, I agree, yes, that's a bad thing. But the protest itself offsets it. And then there's other problems. And then because of that protest doing that, it causes another group to flare up. And you have this thing, and it's not good. Thoughts? I just did a blah, blah, blah. Anybody have thoughts on all of this? Because, wow. I'm just trying to understand it, folks. I am no expert on this. I am not a philosopher, a theologian, or a neuroscientist. I'm a regular guy who likes to just do my thing and have a good time. And I'm just trying to understand it all to make my life a little easier. And really, it has made my life easier. I'm not kidding. Since I realized what's going on, and like, Ruth, you said it, saying things out loud. Since I started doing stuff like that, I swear it's gotten way easier. And I'm sure, Ruth, you noticed it too. If I go, I'm having a panic attack, or I'm very angry right now, I don't like this person, they're really irritating me to the point of I want to start smashing things, like that, it starts the reverse process. The chemical stops being pumped through my body, my brain starts to calm down, and I'm able to make the correct decisions. It's like the karate master. Karate masters why are they karate masters? Because they don't have to usually fight. They know how to avoid the fight. They know how to say the correct thing to get out of the fight. No one wants to hurt their knuckles in a fist fight. Why? What a boring way to spend your day is bandaged up after a stupid fist fight. One day we'll be evolved into Vulcans. Maybe. It's funny that they created that character of a Vulcan who doesn't use they're not emotional. And it sounds boring. Like, oh God, what a terrible world to live in. That's what Captain Kirk and Spock are always kind of tat for tat about. Kirk is all heart and emotion, and the Vulcan Spock is calculated response. A dream would be both, and being able to turn them on or off. Us versus them is always destructive. Well, now it is, but when we were cavemen, it wasn't. It worked. It really did. It was like, and the other thing people don't realize is we evolved to recognize facial patterns first. So if you dump pennies on the floor, and you say to somebody, find me a pattern, our brains evolved to find that facial pattern. Sure, it has to do with a baby recognizing mama's face right away. So if you add that facial pattern to this limbic, to the basal ganglia thing, and the tribal thing, that's what it is. Now, one more thing before I go. I learned something, and I've mentioned this many times. I even did a whole show on it. I'm going to mention it again. I don't think we can talk about this enough. How do you make somebody like you within 1 second? How do you make somebody want to be your friend, not foe? Well, I want everybody to be my friend, even my enemies, not because I'm actually going to be friends with them, but because by getting that connection, it alleviates the possible violent reaction. And also for my magic show business, I'm in show business. My job is not to do magic. It's to meet strangers and make friends with them first, and then do magic. Because you can't do magic with people that don't like you, especially the kind of magic I do in my show. You can't do that. They got to like you. They got to chill out. You're trying to deceive their eyes with sleight of hand techniques and stuff, right? So the first thing you do is smile. A simple smile. A smile makes other people smile. This is neuroscience. The second thing is to raise your eyebrows. I'm saying without any words. Smile. Eyebrow raised. An eyebrow raised is a symbol of almost like a surprise look, and a surprise look is vulnerable. So if I smile and raise my eyebrows, I have this like nervous, vulnerable, happy, I'm okay kind of look. And the next one is the universal open hand. This means no weapons. Put all three together, it like that makes the lizard brain, because when your lizard brain's going, you have 4 reactions when you meet a stranger. The first one would be friend, like I can be friends with this. The second one would be I don't like this person, something's wrong. The third one is I'd like to mate with this person. And the fourth one is indifference. How do you get that first one? Well, this one guy, I was watching his body language thing, open hands, raised eyebrows, big smile. When I walk out in the nightclub show, I always wave my hand like this and smile and raise my eyebrows. I go, hey, what's up? First thing, it goes, I think I can be friends with this guy. Once that's established, then it goes to the next layer. And this is how we bridge gaps. It's all about making a bridge and shaking hands and going, hey. And especially we're living in a world where that tribal thing is happening online. They're splitting us into groups. Facebook people that work for Facebook are told, yeah, break them into groups. It's easier to sell things to them. It's also easier to irritate them. And it's not good. We need to make friends with people that we have different opinions with. And I have lots of friends. I have friends that lean to the left, friends that lean to the right. I have friends that are, people that know me know I am not spiritual religious in any way, shape, or form. But I have a lot of friends that are. And I'm fine, as long as we don't go into the details of that and they, whatever. I have friends from all over. And I've traveled the world meeting people, and I have something to learn from the world. And why would I not want to make a bridge? And to me, that's what magic is. Wow. So we're going to have a drawing here. I don't know how many people we have. 666. I think I saw, who else is in here? Let me make sure here. We're going to have a drawing. Write 666 in the chat right now, and you are in the drawing. I'm going through my chats. Oh, I don't see it. God, I'm going to reread these. There's a lot of stuff in here tonight. What a great chat group. All right. Let's see who's going to win. Anything else, folks, before we do this? Because let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, my God, I did miss this a lot. Hold on. Wow. Tribal. Yeah, I got through all this. Environmental shock triggers the oh yeah. So what triggers oh yeah, Rick Sherman's in here, Peter Benedetti. Yeah, one of the things I wanted to say that environmental disasters trigger tribalism, like the pandemic, a war, a hurricane. You know, those are the things that really do trigger that stuff. Oh yeah, I wrote, if it took 1 million years to get the lizard brain evolved and keep us alive, it's going to take a long time to change it, you know? Yeah, I got through all this. I got through all of this. Wow, what a fun show, folks. I love talking about this subject. To me, it's a big one. It might be the most important thing we all talk about, is how this works. How I'm able to... Descartes, I think, therefore I am. Well, from what I'm reading, Nietzsche flipped that on its head. He did. Because he's like, I think, therefore I am. But how are you thinking? How did that I get there? Because you are. Because you're thinking. It's a circle. Circular logic, not good. Yeah, that's why Nietzsche, I'm starting to tread on him lightly because it's heavy. Daryl's in here, Dan, Sherman. All right, first of all, where are my dice? Let's get out a good one. Let's see here. I'm going to get out, let's see. Oh, I've got a lot of dice. Oh, speaking of dice, look at this. They're getting really clever with dice these days. Ah. Serena Malone. Thank you. Ah, thank you so much. See that dice? That's a poison bottle. D6. It's a D6 bottle of poison. They are making the coolest dice these days. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Alrighty. Peter, if you win again, I am gonna laugh. We have a lot of people win. Well, we had one guy win 3 times in a row. It's kind of shocking. Okay, let me move this. The button here, whoever gets this badge is going to love it. It's a really nice Dungeon Degenerate metal badge. Okay, here we go. All right. I love this. I'm going to put the dice. We're going to put on the hand cam. Hi, Zalthon. Here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2. Oh! Just let it go. 2. Dan! Dan P, brother. Dan P. If you are in here right now, you won. Dan P. So, Dan, what I need you to do is you got to send me... Oh, Amanda, you need to send me your address again. When you did your... Because I sent you you already won one package. Your next package coming, your thing, send me your address again. Send me it on Instagram. Because I got... what's his name's? The other guy who won. Who else won? Ashworth. I have your address. So, Dan P., you need to get me your address. You can send it on Facebook, Instagram, or you can just email it to me at cardoneTheMagician@yahoo.com. And I'll send you this stuff, and you can sit down and enjoy it. And anybody that ever wants to learn how to roleplay a game, Dungeon Master, if you got kids and you want to try little Dungeons and Dragons, try Dungeon Crawl Classics. It is the best role-playing game rulebook I have ever seen. And I have a lot. And I've played a lot. It's just fun to read. It's a really easy and fun to read rulebook. So, Dan, shoot me that message. And on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to put your package in the mail, Ashworth's package, and Amanda's package. It's Friday night, folks. I am ready to party like it's 1987. And I really like the show tonight. This is the kind of stuff that I enjoy talking about. I think it makes us... It makes us better people because we're really trying to understand what's going on a micro level. We're trying to unpack it, right? I don't see people doing this. I see people going straight for these issues without unpacking the real detail of these issues, you know? And I really think we're going to move forward by doing that. I think little kids need to start doing this too, you know? Wow. All right, everybody. Oh, wait, I'm talking to you with the wrong camera on. You're like staring at this junk down here. I had a good time tonight. Wow, we went to 9:16. Thank you. We got a great group. We got Dan, Amanda. Who else is in here? Daryl, Rick, Serena Malone, Amanda, Ashworth, William. Who else is it? Peter Benedetti. Anybody else in here? Follow Peter Benedetti on Instagram. The man is a brilliant artist. And I'm giving you a shout out, Peter. You are the real deal. You're a real artist. And I'm constantly amazed by your work. And if you follow him, you'll get to see the process. When he's building stuff, whether it be a sculpture or painting, you get to see the process. And that's fun. That's the good part of the internet. we get to share some personal things that are actually kind of interesting. A lot of people share stuff that's not that interesting. So, all right, folks. My name is Cardone. This is episode 61 of Evening Hour. I love this. Why? Because I got a good group in here. For those of you that like to make donations, hey, I take them. This whole show and all my equipment was paid for by donors. So $5, $10, $20, $100, whatever it may be, it goes right in the show. I live full time by performing and doing this stuff now. So it all goes to a good source. And if you can't donate, I don't care. Just like the show. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notify, tell your friends. A lot of people in here, really, you're great supporters, and it really means a lot. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to take us out with the outro, and it's Friday night. Cheers. Party on, Wayne.